to this interview as part of the Data Skills Training Programme. Delighted to be joined by Dr. Lucy Clark, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Gloucestershire and also an advocate for Map Action. And we're going to be talking a bit about Map Action's work and how you might be able to get involved as an opportunity to use data skills in development. So welcome, Lucy. Thank you very much for joining us. First question, can you explain what Map Action is and what it does?
Yeah, so Map Action is a non-profit organisation, and the idea behind it is it collaborates with partners all around the world to help to anticipate, prepare for and respond to humanitarian emergencies. And the way that it does that is by providing geospatial information, so taking map information to be able to help make key decisions during these emergencies. And it uses a whole variety of different skills from both the people within it and from the resources for things like earthquakes, floods, hurricanes, but also disease outbreaks and things like insect infestation, so locust outbreaks, things like that.
Excellent. Sounds really interesting and very data linked. What are the options for getting involved as a volunteer?
Yeah, so Map Action itself is run by about 100 people, and about 75% of those are expert volunteers. And quite often they are the top of the field because they're the people that are drafted in during these emergencies to coordinate the data. But there is a supporting organisation called Missing Maps, without which a lot of the data that Map Action uses wouldn't exist. So what Missing Maps does, its aim is to create accessible map data where humanitarian organisations are operating. So if you think about maps of the world, most of us are really spoiled because we live in quite urban areas. So we all have our smartphones and we navigate around. So places like Madrid and San Francisco and Istanbul, they're fantastic in terms of the detail of the mapping. But rural communities in places like Africa and South America, we often don't know where the buildings are, the roads are. So trying to get people in to help when something's happened is impossible. So what Missing Maps does is it uses open data, so what's called OpenStreetMap. So it's an open equivalent of a mapping online portal. And it uses volunteers globally to create that data. So what you can do is when you're registered with them, you look at a satellite image, and there's different projects that you go to. So at the moment, today, I've done one for the Haiti earthquake that happened just yesterday. And I've done a couple of map tiles for that this morning. And you go in and you get given a map tile, and it's basically a photograph. And they tell you what they're looking for. So you look through the photograph every time you see a building or a road, you highlight it. And then they're going for numbers. So what they're doing is asking as many people as possible to do this. So if 3 people do it and it matches, that building gets added to the map. And then someone that's a little bit more experienced with the mapping will check that, verify everything's correct, and then it gets uploaded and people like Map Action can use it.
Excellent. Sounds fantastic. And are there any geographic limits or language requirement for getting involved in that work?
No, because most of it is just looking at images. So at the moment, a lot of the tutorials on the website are English language, but actually what they've done is they've just created it as a visual video. So you can still follow through and you can follow what someone's doing on the screen, even if the English isn't strong enough. But they also have events that you can do where people will guide you through it as well. So, so there's no real language, and the only thing you really need for this is the internet and either a tablet or a computer.
Great. And if we're particularly interested in talking to people wanting to develop a career in development, what would you say would be the key benefits from getting involved in this kind of work?
Well, you're actually getting practical hands-on experience of helping in a humanitarian emergency. So the data that you are creating, along with a whole community of other people doing this, is actually going to be helping people on the ground. So you're making a difference and you're mapping the world. So at the moment, there's huge inequality in terms of how we understand the world we live in, the resources for people in certain areas, and you're helping to address that inequality by helping to map the area that they live in. This information isn't just used for humanitarian organisations. OpenStreetMap is an online map which you can go to and you can look at. So it's creating better resources for people living there as well.
Excellent. And what would you say in terms of your experience maybe of working with students wanting to get involved in this? If you're also studying or working, are there challenges around managing the expectation from this kind of volunteering if you might have other commitments?
Yeah, it's actually, I think, a fantastic organisation to be involved in because there's no real requirements on you. What they do is they provide all of the things that they need. So they will say, here are the emergencies going on right now. And they have a kind of traffic light system of which ones they really need information from. And then you just do as much or as little as you can. So it's something that if you've got a couple of days spare, you can really make a difference. But if you've only got an hour, you could still do a map tile. So, and it adds up. So through time, so I try to do a little bit every month and I make sure that I've done a certain amount of map tiles and it doesn't take up too much of my time, but I know I'm still contributing.
Excellent. That sounds, very flexible for being able to fit around other things and do bits of work. Great. And so how does it work if you are interested in terms of applying to get involved?
So the main thing you just have to do is register. So if you go to the website, then you just register your details and then you become a mapper. And on the website are a series of videos that talk you through what they expect of you, how you do this. And the other thing that they have on the website are events, and they have mapathons. So that's what I organise for my students to get them started. And that's a live event that you can plug into. Quite often it's online. And someone will talk you through what you have to do. And there'll be someone who's experienced that's on hand to help answer any questions as you start out on this. So I would highly recommend just signing up for one of those events to get you started.
Excellent. Sounds great. The mapathons sound like a lot of fun.
Yes.
So we've got some people doing the program interested in this. Is the key thing to do to head along to the website?
Yes. So it's the missingmaps.org. So MISSINGMAMS, all one word, .org. And if you go there, it gives you all of the information on getting started, and it's really straightforward. And there's an events tab there as well.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much for running us through that. Sounds like a really great opportunity for people that have been doing this programme. Is there anything else that you'd want to add that might be useful?
No, I just think it's such a fantastic opportunity to actually be able to create usable data. I'm a big proponent of the importance of spatial data. And so I think having that opportunity to actually generate something that other people will use is just brilliant, and it looks great on your CV.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you very much, Lucy.
Thank you.